So, it's that spooky time of year again, when ghosts and monsters come to life and roam the streets, when annoying kids dress up in crappy costumes and pester fed-up neighbours for free sweets, and when millions of YouTubers cobble together spooky list features in the hopes of earning some cheap Halloween-themed clicks. With that in mind, I'm Eurogamer's Flea and Higtomb, and this is our list of 7 gaming urban legends that'll make you sleep with the lights on.
The Lavender Town Suicides, or Lavender Town Syndrome as it's otherwise known, is the name given to a rush of child suicides that allegedly happened in Japan shortly after the release of Pokemon Red and Green. According to rumours on the internet, it was only children aged between 7 and 12 that would be affected by this, and only those who had played up until reaching Lavender Town, which is the area you might remember for its 7-storey Pokemon graveyard. Now, the really strange thing about this location, and this is actually a legit part of the story, was its theme music, which contained some very high frequencies that only younger people could hear. Supposedly, these frequencies would drive around 200 children to kill themselves, mainly by hanging or jumping from great heights, whilst others developed varying illnesses and afflictions, and while this tale is obviously utter bollocks, like all the best creepy stories, there is an element of truth to it. Binaural frequencies have been known to cause nausea and headaches to those that hear them, and in later Japanese versions of the game, as well as international releases, Lavender Town's spooky theme tune was altered to remove those high frequencies altogether. Can't believe we started off this list with child suicides. Thanks, Ian.
You just can't have a spoopy list feature about gaming urban legends and not feature Minecraft's biggest myth, Harrow Brine. According to legend, Harrow Brine is a humanoid creature similar in looks to Minecraft's own Steve, but with glowing white eyes and a nasty habit of appearing in front of you when you least expect it. No one is sure what his true motives are though. Some people think he stalks unlucky players Slenderman style, while others believe he teleports around building traps so he can kill people and steal their items. There are plenty of fan theories about Harrow Brine and what he actually is, but the most popular is that Harrow Brine is the ghost of Minecraft creator Notch's dead brother. The trouble with that theory though is that Notch doesn't have a brother, and he's told interviewers on multiple occasions that Harrow Brine simply doesn't exist. But he would say that, wouldn't he? No one wants to betray their own brother after all. And if he really doesn't exist, how come all those patch notes keep saying, removed Harrow Brine?
Some gaming urban legends are pure myth. Others, like this next one, are totally real, and in a way, that makes them even spookier. Head to the trailer park just below the Flint intersection and you'll find one such urban legend, GTA San Andreas' Suicidal Photographers. You'll spot these randomly spawning NPCs standing on the riverbank just south of the trailer park, taking photos of the river and the buildings beyond it before slowly and purposefully walking into the water to their deaths. While it has been suggested that this is just a simple pathfinding glitch, others have alluded to a creepier explanation, that these unfortunate souls have photographed something so mind-bogglingly horrifying that they feel the only option left to them is to off themselves post-haste. So what could they have seen down the lens of their camera that was so terrible? No one is 100% sure, but I think I might have a good idea. Oh, that is horrible.
Ben Drowned is the terrifying story of a Majora's Mask cartridge that's haunted by the spirit of a boy called Ben. It's probably one of the best known video game urban legends out there, so apologies if you've heard this one before, but it just wouldn't feel right to not include it on the list. The story goes that the N64 cartridge in question was discovered at a random yard sale by an American college student who went by the name Jad Usable online. The cartridge had no label, only the word Majora written in black permanent marker on the front, so he wasn't even sure at first if it would work. When Jad Usable booted the game up, however, there was one save file present, simply named Ben. Whoever this Ben was, he had made a fair bit of progress in the game, so Jad Usable decided to load the file and have a bit of a poke around. This is where things start to get rather sinister. The file itself worked well enough, but there were some strange glitches like missing textures, scrambled text, and music that played backwards. On some occasions, Link would suddenly catch fire or drown unexpectedly, an occurrence some NPCs referenced with the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" To corroborate his claims, JadUsable even uploaded gameplay capture of the haunted save file, in which you can clearly see Ben appearing at certain points as the game bugs out. And can you see him there, hiding just behind that gravestone? That's pretty creepy. Things escalate rather quickly, and JadUsable even claimed that Ben had began haunting his computer and communicating with him via chatbot. It's all still online if you fancy a long read. It's kind of amazing the lengths one person went to in order to give us all sleepless nights. Well played, JadUsable.
Oh, this is a good one, and about a really good game as well. One of the creepiest places in World of Warcraft is an unfinished dungeon that you can glitch your way into, which includes a room filled with water and mutilated bodies. This unfortunate lot have been hung by their feet from chains and left to just sort of float there for eternity in an area that is actually called, in-game, the Upsidedown Sinners. There's something about saying the words upside down out loud that does ruin the effect slightly. Anyway, this room is but a small part of a larger maze of tunnels located underneath the cemetery outside of Karazhan, and because this area was closed off, accessing the crypt used to involve dying close to the gate and then running through it, a method that was patched out in a later update but does seem suitably creepy. And yeah, players have long expected this crypt to open up at some point, but up until this day, it never has, leading some people to speculate that the gruesome content was hidden away to avoid the game earning a mature rating. What's interesting is that since the release of Legion, the latest expansion, the crypt has been updated slightly and has now been renamed the Forgotten Crypt. The entrance is still blocked off by a gate, and just inside the first room there's a new wooden wall barring access to the rest of the crypt. But still, curious gamers have of course found ways to bypass this and have confirmed that the Upside Down Sinners still remain trapped underwater in their own lonely hell.
This next urban legend puts a dark twist on an already rather spooky Nintendo game. According to some people, the ghostly goings-on that Mario's little brother experiences in Luigi's Mansion aren't actually real, and are instead some kind of terrible purgatory. The reasoning behind this theory comes from a scene that happens just after the Area 3 boss battle, in the game's infamous telephone room. Inside the telephone room are a couple of telephones that are ringing. Answer the right one and a flash of lightning will light up the room. It lasts for only a split second, but it's just long enough to spot an odd shadow of Luigi, one that looks like he's hanging by his neck from the ceiling. So does this mean that Luigi was dead all along? And is what we're seeing here a glimpse of how he ended his life? If it is, then what drove him to suicide? Maybe the guilt of his actions in Mario Kart 8 finally got too much for him to bear.
They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty.
Of course, it could all just be an unfortunate lighting glitch, but where's the spooky fun in that? Nowhere. That's where. Woo.
The biggest video game urban legend of all, though, has to be the one about Polybius. This video game cum mind control experiment allegedly caused its players to suffer from nightmares, amnesia, and worst of all, the tendency to stop playing video games altogether. Polybius is supposed to have appeared in arcades in and around Portland, Oregon in 1981. According to an operator who ran one of them back in the day, the game was actually some kind of mind control experiment developed by the CIA, who would regularly send men in black coats to the arcades to collect data from the machines. With only one black and white photo of the cabinet in existence, and no gameplay or ROMs available, no one can officially confirm that Polybius actually ever existed. There is another arcade game out there that's been blamed for a string of deaths though, and this one definitely exists. It goes by the name Berserk. The first recorded death by Berserk happened in 1982 when 18-year-old Peter Burkowski died of a heart attack after posting 2 high scores on the game's leaderboard. Berserk's designer Alan McNeil acknowledged another death in issue 47 of Retro Gamer magazine, stating the unfortunate fellow was obese and had run upstairs to play the game. He was out of breath from the moment he arrived until he dropped. The final death was that of teenager Edward Clark, who was stabbed to death after an argument over a couple of quarters left on a berserk cabinet. The strangest thing about this death was that the killing took place at the same arcade that Peter Burkowski passed away in 6 years previously. It could all be a massive coincidence, but to this day, people are still pretty superstitious about entering their names on Berserk's high score table.
Well, that's our list of spooky gaming urban legends done, and we managed to get through the whole thing without doing one cheap jump scare. Aren't we nice? If you think we missed out on any cool urban legends, do let us know in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more from Eurogamer, and perhaps check out some of our other videos that are on screen now. There's plenty to choose from, and most of them aren't as scary as this one, except for maybe the late to the party ones where Aoife gets angry, which happens a lot, and she's pretty bloody scary. Goodbye.